Alright, this is my Wailord EX mill unlock deck. It's a combination of a mill deck and a lock deck. Because you could lock your opponent out of being able to make good plays and good moves, which in turn will help with the mill aspect of the deck, so your opponent will eventually deck out, which is the main goal of this deck. So of course you have 4 Wailord EXs because he has 250 HP, so you can take a lot of hits. And then you'll use stuff like max potion, to repair any damages, any large chunk of damage he takes. You'll use floatstone along with Wailords to swap them out, so that way you can switch out between Wailords in between turns. One Wailord takes a pretty decent amount of damage. Like for example, if they take 150 worth of damage, you might want to swap out at that time. The sooner the better. To one that has 250 HP, and wait long enough to potentially draw your max potion or your AZ. In order to recover the Wailord back to your hand, replay it so it can be at full strength again, and then switch back out and keep the stall going. Escape rope. Each player switches his active Pokemon with one of their bench Pokemon. You know what I mean? And the only Pokemon you're playing in this deck is Wailord, so you're switching a Wailord out for no Wailord, and more likely it's going to be a damaged Wailord for a non-damaged Wailord. So it's just like using Floatstone. Then switch will allow you the same thing as Floatstone, allows you to switch a damaged Wailord for a non-damaged Wailord. Pokemon Catcher. This will be it's just like playing Lysander, but you flip a coin. This will let you switch a one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with his active Pokemon, so that we can slow him down. By putting his worst Pokemon in the active spot and his best Pokemon back in the bench. It's like benching somebody's MVP basketball player, right? The ace player, benching it, and just bring out the water boy to play basketball, right? Pokemon Fan Club. This lets you search up to 2 basic Pokemons. Obviously, Wailord is a basic Pokemon, so you use this to grab 2 Wailords. That way you can guarantee you have Wailords in the field to rotate out with. You want to get them all out of the deck and onto the bench and active zone so they can stall, and you switch out, switch out, switch out. You don't want them to get knocked out. That's something you want to avoid, so you want to switch out periodically. Chorus. This will help slow you down from decking out. It lets you put a lot of extra cards, a lot of cards you might not need, like Floatstone. Maybe you don't need a Pokemon Catcher or any Pokemon, any extra of your Pokemon Fan Clubs. You could throw them right back into the deck with Chorus's effect, and then draw cards equal to the number of bench Pokemons on the field. You obviously want to make it sure that it's less than what you put back, because the idea is to put as much cards back into the deck as possible, so that way you deck out slower than your opponent, because your opponent's probably not going to have many cards to throw back into their deck. I mean, they could use their own Chorus, of course, but either way, we have AZ. Put one Pokemon you control to your hand and detach all cards attached to it. This is a way you can add Wailord back to the hand so that you can summon another Wailord from your bench onto your active spot, and then play the one you added to your hand back onto the bench, and now you have a brand new Wailord on the active zone that is at 250 HP. Lysander, we already said that you switch out your opponent's active Pokemon with one of their weak bench Pokemons. Especially if it's a weak bench Pokemon that has a pretty high retreat cost, as well as maybe a high attack cost, like it costs a lot of energy to attack, and it's going to take your opponent a while to even add up enough energies to that Pokemon in order to make that Pokemon of any use. Skyla, it doubles as any trainer card in your deck. You can get a max potion with it, you can get escape roll with it, a float stone, you can get the rough seas, you can get Team Aqua Hideout, whatever you need. You can grab a Lysander and AZ. We have Team Flare Grunt. This will discard energies attached to your opponent's Pokemon. So this is how you'll slow them down from being able to attack. So you're essentially locking them out of their attacks by slowing them down from being able to produce enough energy to be able to perform attacks. Zero Sick. This is for those those decks that uses special energy, like double colors energy, for example. Be able to get rid of those energies, so that way you can slow your opponent down, because that's obviously a energy accelerant, because they get 2 energies, colorless energies with double colors. So you definitely want to get rid of that. But it also lets you get rid of any Poke Tool, in case your opponent has a Float Stone or a Muscle Band or Focus Sash or anything of that nature. You can get rid of it with Zero Sick. Rough Seas Stadium. Once during each of your turn, you may heal 30 damage from a water Pokemon or a lightning or an electric Pokemon. Obviously, this deck only has Wailord, and he's water, so you use it to heal him 30 damage each turn. So that's a good way of slowly healing him. Max Potion is more for an emergency purpose, for emergency purposes, obviously. While Rough Seas, that's your consistent way of keeping him healed. And the good thing about the Rough Seas is that it doesn't apply to the active Pokemon. You can do it to the active Pokemon, or this also works on your bench Pokemons, because as it says, heal 30 damage from each of your water Pokemon, not just the active, or not just one, from each. So even your bench Pokemon can slowly heal, while your active Pokemon, your active Wailord, can keep taking a couple hits, while your weak Wailord that's in the bench can slowly heal itself back up. So that's obviously an amazing thing, because not only your main Wailord that's taking hits is healing, so is your non-active is healing as well. Now we can keep stalling for the long haul. We got Team Aqua Hideout. This is to help slow down retreat. If played right, under the right conditions, of course, this can be pretty devastating, especially when your opponent runs out of energy, especially when you've been discarding a large majority of them, since they'll be locked out of energies and they'll be low on energy. It'll be hard for them to retreat, and if they ran out of cards that lets them retreat for free and swap out and whatnot, like switching, like the switch card and whatnot, this will make it where they'll be stuck with the same Pokemon in their active zone doing relatively nothing, because it can't attack, because it doesn't have enough energy to attack with. It can't retreat because you don't have enough energy to retreat with, so that Pokemon will be stuck there, and that's a good way of locking them and stalling until they deck out, right? And that's the end of the deck profile.